Hello, Shoyan here. I'm a carpenter based in Japan. The framing was completed in late June, and after about 5 months, the house is finally built. Before the owner moves in, let's take a little tour inside the house and recap Season 4. This is the 4th construction site uploaded to YouTube. Season 4 began in mid-June. June was particularly hot this year, with temperatures exceeding 30 degrees Celsius. It was especially scorching on the day of the sill installation. The construction methods for this building differ from the previous 3 houses. The foundation shape and the method of sill installation are unusual. There are no ventilation openings. Foundation vents under the sill are used for ventilation. I hastily purchased this impact wrench, but it was very heavy. I could only use it to tighten the bolts of the sill. I installed 4 polished logs on this site. It's uncommon to install 4 logs in one house. Almost all the wood used in today's buildings is pre-cut. However, manual processes by carpenters are required for tasks that cannot be pre-processed, such as installing polished logs, attaching stones to their bottoms, and hand-planing timbers. It's the preparation day before framing. Just erecting the columns makes the initial work on the framing day much easier. On the framing day, we sprinkle sacred sake called omiki, take a sip, and start working. I'm glad the weather was sunny. It's unusual to have beautiful weather on framing days. The weather is fine probably only around 30 to 40% of the time. Fortunately, we didn't need to wear rain gear this time. The number of framing workers required is decreasing. There used to be about 10 people, but the number has decreased because rope carriers are no longer needed. We used to install the column that runs from the sill to the roof after installing the girder. There were always 2 people for each column that held the rope, but now those 4 rope holders are not required. A total of 8 people on site is considered more than normal these days. We usually work with 7 to 8 people. A veteran carpenter is in charge of slinging work during framing, but young carpenters have no specific role. We don't have a specialized carpenter who works up high in our team. Each artisan finds their role and does the work. It's strange, but the work progresses. With the framing completed, I move on to installing the window frames. Nowadays, most window frames are made of vinyl, which is known for its durability and scratch resistance compared to aluminum frames. Next is floor insulation. Insulation is fitted between the sleepers and seals, unlike the previous 3 sites where insulation was attached to the perimeter of the foundation. The construction method here is entirely different. Regarding flooring, joists were traditionally used, but this building employs a 24mm plywood underlay method. Since the floor is already constructed before the top floorboard is installed, floorboard protection isn't necessary, making movement much easier. Now that the plywood underlay is in place, facilitating movement, the next step is to insulate the walls and roof of the entire house. We're using 120mm glass wool for the walls and a double layer of 100mm glass wool between the rafters in the attic. It's quite challenging work. Working in hot weather, I initially wore short sleeves but suffered from itchiness. Installing the air barrier membrane proved more challenging than the glass wool installation. While insulation work and air sealing may seem similar, the tasks are distinct. Barrier membranes need to be sheeted and tightly sealed with tape to ensure no gaps, which I found particularly difficult. Next is the exterior soffit. The contractor can't progress on wall framing until the soffit is installed. Only the upper part of the wall frame is in place. I take advantage of the good weather to install the soffit. Although the insulation method and airtightness differ, the interior construction will proceed similarly to other buildings. The soffit planks are the usual cedar. With ventilation openings, air circulates beneath the eaves to prevent outside air from entering the building. Ventilation is essential alongside air sealing. This creates ventilated space outside the airtight layer to allow air circulation. It's a well-considered structure. The last soffit is always challenging to install. Next is the floor installation. There are no joists when using plywood underlay, so the Kamachi will be lower than the floor by that amount, giving the impression that the Kamachi sinks from the floor. However, it's quite thick with the 24mm thick plywood underlay and the exposed 15mm floorboard above, totaling 39mm. Securing the boards with glue makes it stronger than installing a 30mm joistless floorboard, and it eliminates squeaking, one of the method's advantages. The floorboards in this house are 15mm knotless boards of Hinoki cypress. There's a distinction between knotless, muji in Japanese, and a board without knots. A muji board is carefully selected for its beautiful grain, while a board without knots may have poorer quality grain. Fortunately, we received high-quality timber this time, although there can still be variations in quality even within the muji category. All the muji timber was beautiful.
Okay.
This site had 2 access panels because the crawl space was divided into 2 sections. Building an access panel is not my favorite task. Even making just one is challenging for me, so having to make 2 was especially tough. The staircase in this building is a simple 14-step structure with stringers made of pine. It's a straightforward design. A 14-step straight staircase is the most efficient for carpenters. While most houses have only one staircase, its shape significantly affects the construction time. In my experience, processing and finishing a straight staircase takes about 3 days. If the staircase is winding, it takes twice as long to build. For a straight staircase, the top and bottom steps are challenging to build, but the other steps are not as difficult. However, staircases vary in installation on each site, even if they are the same straight staircase. It's an interesting aspect of the job. Moving on to the second floor, there will be a ceiling sloped at the same angle from both sides. It resembles the bottom of a boat, so it's called funazoko ceiling. If only one side of the ceiling is sloped, it's simply a sloped ceiling. Initially, the ceiling was designed as mansard, with both sides sloping and leveling out only near the ridge. However, this resulted in a low top-level ceiling, which could be problematic with the planned loft installation. Since going up and down the loft is inconvenient, the design was changed to a funazoko ceiling, as it's more convenient with just one slope, resulting in a higher and more spacious area. Most of the ceilings in this house are made of planks. After unpacking dozens of packages, I sorted the colors and used only light-colored planks for the funazoko ceiling. The adjacent children's room uses darker colors, while the grandmother's room has a mix of dark and light-colored planks. The hall area on the second floor will have a study desk that doubles as a 3,600mm bench, creating a shared space. Such spacious areas within a house are a luxury in modern design. While in the past, the priority was the number of rooms, nowadays, people prefer spaces where the whole family can relax. On the pony wall on the staircase side, there will be a bookcase. You can sit on the long bench, read a book, and directly view the summer fireworks display through the large window. Sitting on this bench and watching the fireworks with a glass of beer in an air-conditioned space would be the ultimate luxury. Moving on, I install a very spacious porch ceiling using the same planks as the ones used for soffits. It's the first time I've installed a ceiling of this size. Despite the porch's large area, the planks could be installed in 2-meter widths as each section was divided by 2-meter frames. Only a portion of the exterior wall of this house uses cedar siding. Since processed cedar siding isn't available in stores, each one must be hand processed. I plane and rabbet the plank edges to create the siding. The cedar plank thickness is barely 11 to 12 millimeters thick, with edges joined by shiplap. There will be a slight gap at the joint. This siding is used in a small area of the house to create an accent with a different material. I believe it would be nice to use them in more areas. Cedar siding imparts a sense of calmness. Next, I build the built-in entrance storage, a shoe cabinet. It is 300 centimeters long and provides ample storage space.
Oh! Oh,
There was an urgent request to include an umbrella stand only on the right side, making assembly challenging since I couldn't use the toe kick at the bottom. Despite this, the resulting shoe entrance storage is simple, yet offers high capacity. I also build in-wall storage under the TV, designed to be as small and unobtrusive as possible. With a 75-inch TV mounted above, the storage underneath remains unobtrusive, allowing the TV to stand out. Next is a small Japanese-style room with a raised floor of 30 centimeters, known as koagari in Japanese. The raised floor creates a storage edge at the entryway where one can sit. Approximately 1 in every 2 houses these days includes a small Japanese-style room. In this house, the raised floor has 3 attached drawers for storage. People can sit on the storage box. I believe it will be a cozy space to sit when people gather while watching the TV or on the wood stove. However, it may be slightly inconvenient for those with weak legs and backs, as one must step over this raised portion to enter the room. Next, a wide threshold will be installed at the room's entryway. 3 sliding shoji screens will be installed here, which can be stored inside the wall, allowing the doorway to open fully. There is enough space here for 4 or 5 people to sit down. It's been a while since I installed such a wide threshold. It's rare to see this size. Installation of kamoi in Japanese-style rooms has become simpler in recent houses, with fewer being used. Only 4 are installed in this room, whereas in the past, 15 to 17 were installed, especially if there were engawa in tatami mat rooms. Previously, there used to be a transom called ranma, requiring 4 kamoi. Including the kamoi below the ranma, the total would be 5. With 3 ranma, the total number of kamoi would reach 15. Additionally, if there were a tokonoma, oshire, and study, the total could exceed 20. My memories of interior joinery work mostly revolve around installing kamoi. Nowadays, only 3 to 4 are typically used for a Japanese-style tatami mat room. I particularly like the dark cedar color for kamoi in a Japanese-style room. It imparts a sense of calmness. While Hinoki cypress is splendid timber, its color isn't as warm and can give off a cold atmosphere. Next is the tokonoma. There will be one tokonoma in the 7.4 square meter Japanese style room, measuring 1,365 millimeters in width, with a floorboard in the front, all made of Hinoki cypress. It will be a two-tiered tokonoma with a front floorboard, a shape I haven't built for a while. It's more than 15 years since I last constructed a traditional Japanese-style tatami mat room. Despite its small size, building a traditional-style tokonoma and a traditional-style family altar room is still possible. However, the structure of Japanese-style tatami mat rooms has changed in the modern age, and the opportunity to build a traditional one like we did in the old days is less likely. Finally, I build a wood deck, which is the last work on this site. It measures 2 meters by 4 meters, which is quite a size. The design is simple, a flat wooden deck like many I've built before. The deck boards are aligned in the same direction as the floorboards inside the house, giving it a spacious and comfortable appearance from outside and inside. When positioning the footing post, I always make sure to place it one step further back than usual. I'm committed to this approach. This prevents discomfort when sitting and ensures the legs do not hit the post. It also doesn't obstruct when placing the steps. That's why I made it in this shape. Now I start nailing, which is many people's favorite part. Actually, I wouldn't say I like it very much. Hammering many nails makes my hands sore, and it's very tiring to nail them in a row. While nailing can be laborious and tiring, the finished look is much more elegant than using screws or round-headed nails. How was the compilation of Season 4? This house is highly insulated and air sealed. It remains cool in the summer and warm even when the weather is cold. The airtightness and insulation are working. Additionally, we were able to use beautiful wood for the interior. Each area of the house is designed with attention to detail, and I think it turned out nicely. Thanks to the perfectly positioned windows, occupants can view fireworks from the second floor. It's cold in summer and warm in winter. The comfort is very different from my own house, but I will be happy if the owner enjoys the house with its abundance of solid wood. It will also be great if they watch Shoyan Japanese Carpenter on YouTube, especially on this splendid TV. This concludes Season 4. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.